Welcome to session number 2 of Growth Hacks, the 12 strategies for doubling your profits right now. In this session, we're going to go over the magic of upselling and cross-selling, the famous F3 response multiplier growth hack, and what might just be Dan's favorite growth hack. Okay?
Well, it ain't the F3.
It's not the F3 multiplier? Okay, so let's move on, Dan, to growth hack number 5, which is what I like to call the F3 response multiplier. Which is the strategy of, well, you have to give it a cool name. We got the damn tripwire out there, which is also known as self-liquidating lead generation.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, it's new.
It's new, brand new.
Tripwire.
Brand new tripwire. So so F3 stands for follow up at least 3 times. And let's talk a little bit about that. Most people do one and done marketing. Why is this just really deadly?
Well, it may not be deadly, but it damn sure is dumb.
Okay.
See, it's such a poor investment of time to go to all the trouble. Remember the Chase Ravel Rob Bank story?
Obviously.
I went to all the trouble to figure that out. I can't only do it once. See, it's such a bad investment. Sorry, it's inside baseball.
Right.
To figure something out that works and then walk away from it. It makes no sense from a business standpoint, right? Convert the 3 things you want to the greatest degree that you can have them out of this into implementation or out of anything else into implementation is you either want something that you can use repeatedly in rotation, which may be seasonal, maybe once a year, maybe when you get X number of new customers who have never seen it before, directed only to them, but something that you can use in rotation, something that can be used on a recurring basis, meaning the 3rd week of every month, the 3rd month of every year, the 3rd month of every customer, boom, 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 or that is evergreen, that is used all the time, right? That's what you want.
Right.
You don't want one and dones. And one of the reasons for that is a sort of a big idea people need to grasp is that marketing is doing marketing, right? And creating marketing assets.
Right.
See, now you have something you own.
Right.
It has value.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, just like this thing.
Yeah.
Just like this.
Yeah. See
this campaign.
See, that has value.
Right.
Right.
Because we know it works. We'll send it out again.
And it doesn't require you to do anything again.
Right.
Or the copywriter to do anything.
Right.
You and he can be hit by a bus tomorrow.
Right.
Its value doesn't diminish.
Right.
Right. And so we get our income from what we do. We get our wealth from what we own.
Wow, that's awesome.
And so it's important to build marketing assets to have ownership.
That's fantastic. Now we talk about, in magnetic marketing, you talk about following up 3 times, but really sophisticated marketers follow up much more often than 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, the 3-step campaigns were built on the platform of the collection industry's Dunning letter, first notice, second notice, third notice, each one getting a little bit sterner until the last one threatens to kill your dog and repossess your car and ruin your credit for life. That's the Dunning model, right? And so it was built on that, in part because at the time I was seeing a lot of it personally as a recipient.
Right.
But keep in mind, that was built pre-internet. So it was built before there was any digital media. It was built before long-distance telephone calls were free. So, not that it is any less And we get magnetic marketing people all the time sending in their 3-step sequence
Sure.
that they built out of the templates of
Right.
that. And they are mostly shocked. They implemented it and, oh my God,
It worked.
something actually happened, right?
Right.
But yes, we have the ability now to be much more sophisticated and to mix much more media into a follow-up sequence. And generally speaking, the more touches within a reasonable period of time, the better the results. I mean, I can give you an actual one.
Yeah,
if
give
you
me
want.
give us an example of a sophisticated campaign.
So what we call an appointment no sale elaborate campaign is typically built on 16 steps over 4 weeks. So appointment no sale means they came to a face-to-face, a phone, and a webcast, a VSL. They came to a sales place and time,
Right.
and they did not buy. Right? And now we'll follow up. So 16 steps over 4 weeks. All right? Week 1, it's the same offer. So that's like, there's usually 3 reasons why you didn't take advantage of this.
Right.
One is price, one is you had to sleep on it, one is, and here's the answers to all that. So week 1 is the same offer. Week 2 is the price and or the terms change in the offer. So it's less, or there's 4 payments when before there were no payments. There's pay half now, pay the other half only after, or you've lost 30 pounds on the diet. Week 3 is switched to an entirely different offer. Okay, you've said no twice to the exercise gadget. How about a magic drink you swallow every morning and the pounds fall off?
Right.
So,
So let me just stop you right there, because I want people to get this, that you're actually changing the offer. You're not necessarily following up, hammering the same thing, hammering the same thing, hammering the same thing.
I stopped doing that in week 1.
Okay.
In week 2, I kept the same thing,
Right.
but I changed either its price.
Right.
So I
Payment.
stripped things away.
Right.
And said, okay, you
Yep.
can have it for less, but you're not going to get
Yep.
X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Right. I took away, in our world, you get digital and hard copy. Well, I'm going to only give you digital, and I'll
Right.
charge you this.
Right.
Right. Or I went to different terms.
Sure.
So before you had to pay up front.
Right.
Now you can pay, whenever.
Right.
Week 3, I switched to an entirely different thing. Okay? And in week 4, I dropped to 30-day free, try before you buy, or some combination,
Right.
some version of that, right? Also during the 16 weeks, there can be as many as 4 changes of voice.
Oh.
Okay?
Oh, wow. This is very sophisticated.
Yeah. This is very elaborate,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
very sophisticated. So it can be the same sales rep. So you came, John, the car guy, took you on your test drive and tried to sell you a car, and you didn't buy the car. So the first week can be from John. The second week can be from the owner. I know you met with John. John's kind of new. He might not have explained it's got tires. And, so it's from the owner. Week 3 could be in the voice of a testimonial. Right? Week 4 could be the owner's wife.
Okay.
Okay? Doesn't matter. It could be, week 3 could be from a rabbit.
Yeah,
Okay?
right.
But you change the voice
Okay.
along the way as you change these
That's
perambulations,
cool. That's
right?
Cool. Yeah, that's very cool.
And your 16 steps are going to be some offline,
Some
online,
Right.
maybe some phone,
Right.
all mixed in
Beautiful.
together, right?
Beautiful.
So your 3 times multiplier, right, it really does not come from just 3 steps.
Right.
The truth of 3 steps is, if you want a big thumb rule for 3 steps, step 2 and 3 will get roughly 50% as much as step 1
That's
did.
right. Yep.
Right? But if you do something like I just described,
Right.
you may get 3, you may get 4, you may get a 6 times multiplier. And also it depends on how you calculate the multiplication factor. because every customer has value beyond this transaction.
Of course.
And every customer has value, hopefully, in referrals.
Sure.
So depends on, how you calculate.
Yeah.
The reason why it's important versus one, and we give up on them, is because of gestation. So different people get to a final willingness to buy in different periods of pregnant thought. Mm-hmm. Okay? So some people are true impulse buyers, okay? At least in certain categories. You're probably an impulse buyer about certain things.
Sure.
I'm certainly an impulse buyer about certain things.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jeep parked out front that I drove over here today,
Bought it from a
I bought
catalog.
out of the Orvis catalog while I was watching television, and I was trying to order socks. And, oh shit, there's a Jeep. Always kind of wanted a Jeep, I'll buy a Jeep, right? Not a lot of people buy Jeeps that way. Right. Enough, though, it's a slack adjuster in the catalog because they sell a lot of socks.
Right.
Right.
Not a lot of people probably call out buying socks and a Jeep at the same time.
Probably
No.
not.
Probably one.
But you do that every once in a while.
Right, yeah.
So, so some of us are impulse buyers. Some of us are the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. We're very slow to buy. Mm-hmm. Okay? Girl I dated for the last 2 years of high school, her father was an engineer at Goodyear Aerospace. So just, you got the picture, right? He was like the last guy on earth to buy an American Motors car. I mean, he was a Rambler guy,
right.
And you could set your watch by when you saw the back of his head in the front window of the house, because his routine was leave work, come here, sit. I mean, this is the guy, right? So for him to do anything, pretty much buy anything, took weeks, if not months, before his gestation period was over. I go to buy a new car, I buy it in a day.
Yeah.
A lot of people, a weekend. A lot of other people, 2 weekends.
Yep.
Him, 8 months.
Wow.
All right? Wow. Now, whoever follows up with him wins. Right?
Yeah.
Wins.
Right.
If nobody follows up, it's random chance.
Right.
If anybody follows up over that period of time, they win.
They win. So how do you know when you should stop following up, when it's no longer mathematically
Well, that's
relevant?
it.
Right.
So it's either when they tell you,
Right. Stop.
Okay?
Right.
Stop.
Right.
I hate you. I'm not buying from you.
Right. Right.
It's either that.
Right.
Okay? And Zig in his sales trainer role, not his nice paternal grandfather role, would say you stop about 5 tries after that. Right. But so it's either that, they literally opt out, if you will, or it's just math, right? And the value of the customer cannot justify more than X. Right? But you should never stop short of that X. Right. And you should always take into account, again, what it will cost to start from scratch to get a new customer. Right?
Yeah.
Where we already are invested in this guy.
Right. Absolutely. In this, let me just get one of these bad boys here. Let's see here, this one. Okay.
There's really stuff in it?
All right, yeah. So, no, not in the transcript one. The transcript one is just
I was going to say, that'd be a good trick.
And the transcript one
See,
is
that'd
just
be a good
binder.
magic. That'd be a good magic trick.
If it filled
if
up.
you had the transcripts in there from the presentation we were about to do, that'd be a good trick.
Yeah, so in the toolkit portion, though, of this, we've included some really killer follow-up campaigns, email follow-up campaigns for different types of categories. So let's say somebody signs up for a webinar. There's an entire sequence of that. Let's say somebody comes into your store, doesn't buy, there's a sequence. So so you get all kinds of follow-up campaigns right in this as well, okay, that you can just, again, they're fill in the blanks, they're templates. Johanna, do we include offline as well in that?
I think we have a couple.
So we've got a couple offlines from something I actually created that I use successfully. That's in there as well. Okay.
So so the other thing about this is, so when you say there's more online than offline, obviously that caters to preference.
Right.
And I get it.
Right.
But I will say that in follow-up also, people ought not think again in terms of mandated brevity. So you were just at Advanced Business Development. And it was either there or modus operandi. I don't remember, but we were talking about the sales letter that I sent during the 9 years I did the success events to everybody who had bought a ticket and was in those arenas, but then did not buy magnetic marketing. A large number of them because they didn't even stay to hear the presentation, so I didn't even have a chance. But so that letter was the speech, the 75-minute speech transcribed
Still have it.
with a different, it's interesting, I don't have a copy, I'd like a copy.
Okay.
Of sort of a different opening paragraph and a little bit different at the end, but same offer, so it was in this same offer category. And I believe, do you know how long it is?
12 pages?
I think it might be 16.
16 pages?
I think 16 pages.
I haven't looked at it
Might
forever.
even be
It
longer.
was like 20 years ago I got it, yeah.
Might even be longer.
Yeah.
And so that went to everybody who didn't buy. And at whichever, modus operandi or Advanced Business Development, Robin Robbins was in the front row, and if you were in a room, spoke up and said, that's how I started.
That's how I started.
I bought, that's right, that's how you started.
That's how I started.
And, you know, so like in Robin's case, who knows?
Right.
You know, but if you total GKIC dollars and Dan dollars together, everything from Robin is maybe in the $200,000 neighborhood.
Sure.
Right? You could send a lot of follow-up letters.
Right.
You know, and so you, and in your case, before you came over to the dark side and were, you know, and were a customer, you know, significant.
Six figures.
Yeah, and so you got, you know, you got to think about transaction value, yes, short-term value, yes, but those are really cash flow issues.
Right.
Right? Lifetime customer value is, you know, is the real number.
Right.
And what will you do to get that high-value customer?
Yeah, and it really goes back to one of the tenets that you taught. There was two things that you said that really stuck with me. The first was being that you need to be a marketer of your product or service. Think of yourself as that, as opposed to being a doer of it.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Which was huge for me. That's really a big change when my entertainment business really took off. But the other one was that it's not, most people are looking for how little they can invest to acquire a customer.
Right.
You should be thinking about how much can I invest. Boy, that was like, whoa, wow. And that's what we're talking about with this growth hack, which is following up, following up, following up in different formats. So we give you email follow-up. We also give you some direct mail follow-up campaigns. But here's the other thing.
Well, the email,
pretty straightforward to take forward.
Each email beget a postcard. I mean,
Right.
it's not rocket science.
Yeah, it's not rocket science. Yeah.
See, to your second point, the means to at least double a business,
Which is what this is about.
okay,
Right.
in most cases, is dribbling out the holes in the bottom of the existing bucket from what's already being poured in the top of the bucket.
Right.
It's not like you need a big new ad budget.
Right.
It's not like you need a bunch of new customers. It's already there.
Right.
You're just letting it drip out the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. And so with this, all you got to do is fill in the blanks and put it into an autoresponder for the email. And if you have something like Infusionsoft, you can actually have the direct mail sent out automatically too as follow-up. I mean, first of all, it's easier than ever before. I remember when I first got started with this whole follow-up thing.
This whole thing was a pain in the butt.
Oh my God. I mean, and then there were solutions.
We sold at one time, so Keith DeGreen, this is how bad it was. People don't know what they had to do.
No.
Okay? So we sold what was called a no-fail follow-up system. Keith DeGreen, a speaking peer of mine, we both started a business at the same time. I produced stuff for Keith at General Cassette. And Keith, for like 3 years, worked the Century 21 market. No-fail follow-up system came in a box bigger than this counter, okay, because everything you needed was in it. Okay? And so there were 12 different colors of 31 file folders so that you could set up your tickler files
Right.
for follow-up.
Right.
Right? And so that took up a lot of space in the box. Right? And there was a manual and there was some other stuff and there were forms. So basically, if you got one lead, so if you're a real estate agent,
I did this actually.
right?
Right.
I mean, you Xeroxed your lead sheet and you put it in
each
the
one.
file folders
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
right? If you had a bunch, you did it with Avery label sheets,
Right. Oh, okay.
right? I ran my business this way.
Right.
I ran Success Track this way. Okay? So you did it with Avery label sheets. And so if you're going to do 3-step follow-up, you ran 3 sets of labels.
Right.
If somebody bought, you went to the next and you peeled them off so you didn't send them the next piece. This is how you were running this.
Right.
So if you were generating a fresh set of leads like 4 or 5 times a week, you were creating 4 or 5 sets of Avery labels times 3, putting them in these file folders, taking them back out, peeling them. This is how you were running a business.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, so and now it's so easy. I mean, it's so easy. And with the toolkit, I mean, we made it even easier. You don't even have to write the damn things.
You systemize the content. Of
Yes,
course.
exactly. Okay, so Dan, let's go to the big mystery now. Let's reveal the big mystery of what may be your favorite growth hack of all, which is, can we get a drum roll, boys? Can we get a drum roll back there? Nobody can hear the drum roll, but we can hear
I
it.
should have brought my little sound effects
Oh,
box.
yeah.
Remind me next time I'll bring my little sound
Bring the
effects
sound effects box. That could be dangerous, though.
box. Well, it's got
Well,
a,
that could be dangerous letting you have
But
the sound effects box just
very
throughout
cool.
the entire
It's
thing.
very cool. It's got a drum roll on it. It's got applause. It's got a farting noise. It's got a bomb going
That's
off.
what I'm worried about.
very cool.
Okay, so which is marketing to the affluent. So let's talk about a little bit about marketing to the affluent, and why do you think that this is such an important growth hack?
Well, there's 2 issues all the time. There's willingness to buy and ability to buy. Right? And a lot of business owners and marketers waste a lot of time, energy, and money getting to people who have high willingness to buy and very low ability to buy. Right? So lots of people want stuff they can't buy.
Right.
And they will go through a sales process getting right to the point that they actually can't buy it.
Right.
Some people shop for entertainment.
Absolutely.
And so they'll come in and spend 2 hours with somebody at the Best Buy looking at big screen TVs.
Right.
And they have no ability to buy a big screen TV.
Right.
Right? And in that environment, one of the first things that should happen is a qualifying question,
Right.
deciding whether I'm going to spend 2 hours or 2 minutes with you, right? Well, if you are going to buy a new television set today, what price range are you
looking-
able to put on your credit card? Right?
Right.
12 cents. Walmart, right? Over there, Bubba.
Right.
Next. I mean, you know.
Right.
So what's happening, at least in the domestic market, and has been happening for quite some time, I began to talk about it aggressively in 2004. It's in the original edition of the No BS Marketing to the Affluent book, which came out in 2006. There's a new edition that just came out last year, by the way. Is the disappearance, genocide, shrinkage, whatever terminology you want to use, of the middle class consumer in America. Right? Now, there are other places where the middle class consumer population is growing. That is not the case here. It is shrinking. And it is shrinking, has shrunk and is shrinking substantially. So without boring with all the statistics and the evidence and demonstration, everybody just, for the sake of this conversation, can take my word for it, but
Right.
it's there.
Right.
Right? And every attempt to gerrymander it is actually making it worse, because the people trying to gerrymander it have never met a payroll. They've never. So yesterday, the president said that he gave a raise to 5 million people. Well, he doesn't employ any of the 5 million he's talking about, so he can't give them a raise.
Right.
He messed around with what you can do with salaried employees and overtime and so forth.
Yeah.
Actually, he eliminated 2 million jobs. That's what he did. All right? And he didn't give a raise to anybody. It's utter nonsense. So you got this middle class, you got less and less of them to work with. 1/3 are moving up, 2/3 are moving down, at least at the moment. So you really have a decision here of who you're going to sell to. are you going to sell to people who have strained and severely limited ability to buy, or are you going to sell to people who have fundamentally unlimited ability to buy? So here's what's very important. It is not proportionately more difficult to organize yourself to take money from people who have virtually uncompromised ability to buy than it is to try and take money from people who have severely compromised ability to buy. It is arguably more difficult, but it is not more difficult in the same multiple as is the money.
Right.
So if we want to narrow this back to how can I double the business?
Right.
Right? Well, the first thing you can do to double the business is sell to people who will pay higher prices.
Yeah.
Okay, per unit of whatever it is you deliver, and or will pay it more frequently. Okay, so again, the father of the girl I dated, right, here's how often per year he took his wife out to dinner. Her birthday and their wedding anniversary. That's it. Okay. He's a horrible restaurant customer.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Horrible.
Right.
Right? We want somebody who goes out twice a week.
Unlike, like me.
Not twice a year.
Right.
We want somebody who goes out twice a week.
Right.
Okay? And we want to deliberately,
Right.
intentionally focus on those customers. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any difference, and I know this is a whole subject, but what are some fundamental differences about marketing to the affluent as opposed to marketing to just the general public? What should we be on the lookout for? What should we be doing?
Well, so first of all, there is what they can do for you.
Right.
Right? Which is in transaction size.
Right.
So a question I always ask people is how many units of sale does it take to get to a million in your business? If we change that number, we change a lot.
Right.
Okay? How many customers does it take to give you $1 million of patronage in a year if we change that number? So that's what they can do for us. In terms of how different it is to market to them, they have unlimited choices. Right? So the more affluent you have, the more choices you have. Okay?
Right.
Wherever you went last night
Yep.
and had your 10-course,
11 with wine pairing.
I assume you went downtown.
Went to Crop. Yep.
There you go. Okay? You pretty much could go to any restaurant in Cleveland.
I checked out 4 different restaurants, high-end restaurants that had tasting menus.
Okay? So you have unlimited choice, really, in this city.
Yep.
Okay? A whole lot of people have very limited choices.
Right.
They have a budget.
Right.
Right? And they go out twice a month and they can only spend X amount of dollars, and they got to pick things within that, right? Then there's people that have virtually no choice.
Right.
Right? So they have unlimited choices. That means, for the most part, they can be choosier.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So your marketing job is more difficult in the sense that you have to justify them choosing you out of any and every available choice.
Got it.
All right?
Beautiful.
Then, the second thing to know about them, in many categories, their buying methodology is not about the what. And it's definitely not about the price.
Yeah.
And it is not about the what. Yeah. It is about the who.
Yeah.
Okay? They are very much about, I got a guy for that.
Right.
I got a gal for that. About finding the go-to guy, right? Because the more affluent a person is, typically, the more money they got, that's obvious. What's not obvious is the less time they have. Right? So a big misnomer about rich people is
they're on their yachts doing
they
nothing.
have all this leisure time, right?
Right.
And they don't work, and the poor working staff, right? I got news for you. Average rich person in his 80s is working an 80-hour week. That's what he's doing, right? And he's got all kind of other responsibilities poor people don't have.
Right.
He's got charities. He's got all sorts of stuff going on, right? So pretty much the more money he has, the less time he has. Therefore, he's not oriented to the what, he's oriented to the who.
Yeah.
He's got to have a guy for his cars.
Right.
He's got to have a guy for his house. He's got to have a guy for his money. He's got to have a guy, right? So your marketing is about being the guy, not about the stuff you got.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the second big thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The third big thing to know is that while they are harder to get to cold, once you get one, they are much easier to multiply because they're in a small, tighter fraternity where they all have great influence on each other.
Sure.
All right? So if you remember, we had Body by Jake. We had Jake Steinfeld at an info summit, I don't know how many years ago.
2 years ago?
Nah. Two, maybe?
2, I think 2 years ago, yeah.
So when Jake was a personal trainer, his breakthrough was Steven Spielberg as a client. Steven Spielberg gave him all of Hollywood.
Right. Period.
All of Hollywood.
Yeah.
All right? So what I call the cachet client is an enormous point of leverage with the affluent.
Right.
It's not, by the way, that great of a point of leverage with low-end consumers, right? Because most low-end consumers aren't very well respected by their peers.
Yeah.
They're not really, their judgment isn't really trusted by their peers.
Right.
So if you're a carpet cleaner and you get a poor person as your customer, you do not necessarily get the people in the five houses around them as customers.
Yeah.
Because when they say, I just found the greatest carpet cleaner, everybody goes, yeah, fuck.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm an idiot, you're an idiot. We
Right.
both know we're idiots.
Right.
You know, right?
Right.
Warren Buffett calls somebody up and says, I just found the greatest carpet cleaner in the history of the world.
He's
Whoever the hell he's calling is saying, give me his number.
Give me his number. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I mean, so that it's a different environment for multiplication.
Yeah, beautiful. Let me tell you what folks don't know yet, and unless you read the order form really carefully, you might not even know about this very, very special bonus that we've included with Growth Hacks. It is 12 back issues of Dan's Marketing to the Affluent newsletter and hot sheets. These have a value of $395. Obviously, the value, just listen to what he just said in the past 10 minutes. Imagine getting a dissertation on it. 12 back issues. That's included free in your toolkit. So make sure that you read those. Okay, Dan, let's go to growth hack number 5, which is, I think this is actually number 6, isn't it? 4. Number 4. 4, 5, 6. Just use any one of these and you'll double your business. Okay, which is upselling and cross-selling. Upselling and cross-selling. So you've worked a lot. First of all, what's the difference in upselling and cross-selling? Because people mess this up all the time.
So people are more familiar with upsell than
Right,
cross-sell.
right.
They have it done to them all the time, at least at a very primitive level.
Right.
It's supposed to happen, by the way, a lot more than it does because businesses don't enforce it well.
Right.
Right? So I stopped at Panera on the way here this morning to have breakfast, okay? And I got a egg and spinach and whatever the hell it was, right? She's supposed to say, would you like a 99-cent bakery item with that? That's their upsell.
Right.
Okay? And they're supposed to say it with everything.
Then aren't they also supposed to say it's just baked fresh today or
Yeah,
something like
but-
that?
but-
just, yeah, right.
Yeah, but at least.
Right, say something, right.
Yeah, so no attempt at the upsell,
Right.
okay? But that's the upsell everybody pretty much
Right.
experiences.
Right.
They're buying the doohickey at
Right.
Best Buy
Right.
or Office Max.
The doohickey?
Yeah, the doohickey. They're supposed to say, well, it is. It's a doohickey. Well, I don't know what that is. Is it a laptop or is it a pad? It's too small for a laptop. It's too big for a pad.
It's
What the hell is
it's a Microsoft, it's a laptop.
Okay. So you're buying a laptop
Right.
at the
Laptop
Apple Store or
doohickey.
Best Buy
Yeah.
or wherever the hell you're
Right.
buying it, Office Max. You will get it comes with a 1-year warranty. For X dollars, you can have a 3-year warranty, yada, yada. That's the cash register upsell,
Right.
okay? So most people are familiar
Right.
with that, and that is, you bought X, would you like to add on Y? Or would you like to add on Y and Z? That's an upsell. And there's almost no justification for not doing it, not creating one, for every point of sale in your business. Okay? It's just dumb not to have it, because somewhere between 5 and 10% of the people say yes to it, almost no matter what it is.
Right.
Okay? The cross-sell people are less familiar with, because it's not done, first of all, it's not done often at point of sale at retail. It is, and again, it's supposed to be more often than you see it. Okay? But the general public, if they see it a lot, that's where they see it. So cross-sell, so upsell is you bought X, would you like to add on Y, right? Cross-sell is you're using X,
Right.
okay? You're buying X. You should also be using Y, right? So you're paying us to clean your carpets. You haven't paid us to clean your ducts, your air ducts, right? And we've done your carpets now 4 times, and you've never hired us to do air ducts. And we know you got air ducts because like you got a house. So if we have a brain and we're the carpet cleaner, we identify that our people have been in there 3 times now, and we still haven't got an air duct cleaning job. This guy, we need to go get Dave to buy air duct services aggressively, right? So that's a cross-sell. Okay. Most businesses, there's places for both of these things. And again, in most businesses, if you implemented these 2 things and you implemented them fully, you won't double. You'll bump by about half.
Okay.
So you will add 50% again to your revenue. In almost every case, it will be more profitable than the original 100, because obviously you paid to acquire the customers in the original 100%. There's almost no cost of sale. If it's at point of retail, maybe a little incentive to the person. But so it's actually more profitable.
Which is really the premise of this, which is doubling your profits.
So these 2 things are just really, really important. Now, they're easy to do on an automated basis. You just have to figure it out and write it in. So at a certain point, it happens. Right? With print, direct mail, whatever. So I don't know if there was one or not. Probably not. I'll bet not. Should have been an upsell in the PS and on the order
I don't
form.
think that there was,
So when you look at that in your kit, folks, the one missing thing from this brilliantly executed campaign.
What we're talking about is the Godfather one.
So we'll pick on it. So the one missing thing from this brilliantly executed campaign is there should have been an upsell. So the obvious upsell, back to your comment, in this business would have been, how about a package of the issues you missed? How about the last 6 months? Should have been an upsell. So there's a lot of places to do it, and people don't do it. Now, if there are humans involved, as in the Panera Bread issue, you have got, if it's worth doing, you got to know that it won't get done without some enforcement expense. Somebody's got to make it happen, discipline those who don't, those who won't, get them out of there, and get people in who will, et cetera. But by and large, there's enough opportunities to do these things to increase revenue by half and have an even greater impact on profit.
Yeah, so you've done a lot of work in the, and by the way, I was just doing the calculations in my head. This is growth hack number 5. Okay, so we did the F3 multiplier, which was 4. This is 5. Ha! And I'm looking right at the person who put this together. So, okay.
Do you feel better now?
Yeah, I do. I feel a little bit better now.
Good.
I feel a little bit better now. So you've done a lot of work in the infomercial field, Talk about the importance of this concept in that business.
Well, so first of all, in direct response TV, short form or long form. So long form, the infomercial. Short form, the spot, the automated cat toy, and if you call now, you get 2 for extra shipping. That short form direct response. And really in mail order, the catalog business, the direct mail business, and even in some e-commerce, it's critical. For the most part, you can't stay on the air in direct response TV without a sequence of upsells. Okay? Your cost to make the phone ring for the initial purchase is far too high. So you can't play the game if you aren't very adept at the upsells. And then there's the whole issue of the order in which you present them, the price points you put on them. So for example, I'm doing a lot of work right now on a joint pain relief product called Arthronew. And we've inched over 8 or 9 painful months the average initial order from $108 to $129.
Wow.
At 108, we're out of the game. At 129, we're barely in the game. To really play the game, we got to get to about 150. Okay? We've gotten as far as we've gotten with a series of 5 upsells. They're all occurring in e-commerce and on the phone, by the way. So they're occurring online and they're occurring on the phone, but all the business being driven from offline. A series of upsells, rearranging the upsells and testing, okay, what if we move this, rearranging the upsells, fooling with price on the upsells, right? And so you can't play the game without this. Now, looping back to an earlier hack, number 13, I believe.
13A.
13A, yeah, the slack adjuster.
Yeah.
And you talked about it with the mother of all offers, which, by the way, was another licensee, was Kimball's exact experience, same thing. Okay. So we actually had, also in another of Michael's businesses, we had an upsell on the order form that was only presented in a 2-paragraph PS at the end of a sales letter that sold for 5 times the price of the thing they were buying. Now, not a lot of people took that upsell.
Right.
But the ones who did, big slack adjuster.
Right.
Okay?
Wow.
So these things
Combined together.
connect.
Sure. Oh, for
right,
sure.
they connect. But for the most part, you can't be out there in direct response, in true direct response. Definitely, you can't be in direct response TV without being effective at these upsells.
You know, one of the things that we've done at GKIC is after somebody opts in, and people who are watching this right now live experience this. One of the things that we did, and we tested it with one of my products, which was to, after somebody gives us their name and email address, to immediately make a pitch to them. If they're signing in for a free webinar or a free training or whatever, to immediately make a pitch to them. And we're going to show you those in just a second, but let me give you the, it just killed, worked like gangbusters. Here are the results from this. And we're going to show you this really ugly video that I shot. I mean, this is ugly.
Because you're in it or because of production standards? Which is the...
Here are the results.
Can't help it if you ask for it.
Both of them. 12% of the people who opted in, okay, 12% of the people who opted in.
To get a free thing.
To get a free webinar, okay, bought the upsell product, which you could also say is a cross-sell product because it was not the same thing, okay? So it was a kind of an upsell, cross-sell at the same time. And that represented over $10,000 in sales before we actually sold the main thing. And here's what's super exciting about it. What's really exciting about it is that the theory was, when we first tested this with my thing, was that, well, people aren't going to buy the main product. Just the opposite happened. Because as you say, a buyer's a buyer's a buyer. We're going to get to that in just a second.
So now, right before you show it, so now here's the application, because again, we're showing an info marketing example, right? So let's take it to brick and mortar.
Okay.
I've only seen it, I've only had this done once in my entire life.
Right.
Call to make a reservation at a really great restaurant like the one you went to.
Right.
It all gets done. Person says, oh, by the way, Mr. Kennedy, we have this whiz-bang dessert, right? And we can only serve so many of them in an evening because they're made from scratch. The chef has to make them.
Right.
Or it takes a bunch of time. We import the stuff from Norway to make the whipped cream, and so we can only serve 20 of these a night. Right. And so far for Thursday night, 12 are committed. I see you're a party of 4. There's 8. If you wait to get here, there's absolutely no way. Would you like to reserve them in advance?
Reserve the dessert.
Well, it's brilliant.
Right.
Right? So, but why wouldn't every high-end restaurant do it? Right? And so this has application
To
everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. So it's free, right? All I'm doing is making a reservation to come in.
Right.
But boom, I'm getting sold something.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Yep. So let's watch this. Video right now, and just a word of warning: it is ugly. Let's watch it. Check it out.
Hey, it's Dave D. Thanks so much for registering for my upcoming live event that's happening this Thursday at 8 p.m. On this, I'm going to share with you how you can master the art of selling one-to-many, and then by doing so, dramatically increase the amount of money you make. We're going to have a lot of fun. You want to make sure that you're on time for this. In fact, it'd be best if you show up about 5 to 10 minutes early, because we're going to start right on time and with great information immediately. So make sure you're there on time. Now, because you were smart enough to sign up for this webinar, I want to make you a very special offer. You see, obviously, one of the best ways to increase your income and to make more money is to attract better quality customers, better quality clients, better quality patients. And I have a program that I created that helps you do exactly that and gives you all of the templates for doing it. I've made you a very special offer on this program, and it's only good, though, for right now. So it's really important that if this is something that you like, that you take advantage of it, because once you leave this page, it goes away. So read the information below. If it's something that you want, take advantage of it. If not, no problem. I look really forward to seeing you this Thursday at 8 p.m. We're going to have a great time. Thanks
I warned
again.
you it wasn't pretty, but it highly, highly effective. So, by the way, we give you the template for that video because, again, it looks very, very simple, but there is a template that I follow when I create those, which is very psychologically sound to help sell the thing that we were selling. So you get that template. We've also going to give you the template for the actual, this is way, way underpriced. We're also going to give you the template for the sales letter that actually sold the product, that sold the $10,000 afterwards. So that's included in the toolkit as well. Okay, so far you've learned the first 6 growth hacks: lost customer reactivation, cash flow surge campaigns, the Slack adjuster, upselling and cross-selling, and the F3 response multiplier, and marketing to the affluent. Next, we're going to be covering the power of continuity, which is huge, the premium offer, and something you've probably never considered doing before, but you should be doing it.